Hey guys, it's Steve. So here we go with the first official Asset Mastermind training. So there's three of these a week. Wow, that's doing weird things with my fingers. Whatever. I do actually have all my fingers. Um, this Tuesday class is all about off market. The Wednesday class is about deal analysis and leaning a little more toward the commercial side. So you could say Tuesday's off market, residential, multifamily, mixed use. Wednesday's whatever going to commercial self storage for both sides. And Thursdays aimed at brokerage members, licensed agents, and so forth. We also can add programs on specific topics. Wednesday is sort of a call it free for all, whatever you guys ask. And so anyone that's a JV partner with us, anyone that is doing deals exclusively with us and has signed the various paperwork is entitled to all three of them. Anyone that is just casually kind of wants to watch, feel free. I will be timing that down at some point, but not yet. And anyone that is a licensed agent with us also gets all three. And anyone that signs up for Asset Mastermind, again, it's only $300 a year. I'm not looking to make money off Asset Mastermind. In fact, for the next year, 80% of our profits from Asset Mastermind, if there are any, get donated to charity. That's actually a perpetual promise that we're going to donate at least 50% of our profits every year. For all of our businesses. So we really make a big effort. Profits are defined differently, but the point is huge donation corner. So anyway, so what I wanted to talk about today is consistency. And I'm going to bring this up because honestly, some of you that are on our JV group haven't been chatting a lot, haven't really been talking and asking about deals. And I don't really know whether you're out there or not doing stuff, whether you need help, whether you need guidance. And it's hard to know. And the biggest thing in this business, in any industry really, I've been in a lot of industries, but the biggest thing in this industry is consistency, follow up, staying in front of people. In fact, I'm going to take a second and just send a message to somebody that we need to stay in front of on a different project. So this is literally what it comes down to. Is a lot of times is you'll put the stuff in the CRM, it'll we'll be reminding ourselves to do follow-ups and we'll be doing them or whatever. But then when you think of somebody, like I have this guy who called us in earnest, wanting to do what would have been a great deal for everybody on Friday. We put it together, we sent paperwork. Friday became I'll sign Monday. Monday became I have jury duty, which, you have jury duty before the day, so we could have planned that, but okay. And now there's no response. So I thought of him. We tried to call him this morning. It didn't happen. So we didn't get through him on the call. So I just literally sent him a message saying, hey, can we get this going? We're ready to help. And people fall off, honestly, fairly frequently. It's the nature of the game. Whatever. They find another offer. They discover they're not in the situation they think they are. Oddly, and this is one that I find weird, you tell them, hey, we can buy you for this or list you for that. And they think you're trying to steal something from them. It's like, well, no, I'm offering you a choice of different options. I can make you a fast sale at 40 grand, or I can list you and probably sell you at 60 grand. And which one do you want? Oh, well, you must be doing something fraudulent. Okay, whatever. So people go dark for a lot of reasons. And it's frustrating. It's a numbers game. And that's the most important thing to remember about real estate investing. I would say that's point two. Point one is simply do it. Be consistent. Wake up every day, make a schedule, whether it's every day, every week, every Saturday, whatever. Hey, I'm going to accomplish 100 calls this week. And literally, as I said that, I'm looking at my list and I'm like, oh, I'm going to add these things to my list. That's when I look over there. That's my to-do list. And just waking up and being consistent about it, which is the hardest thing to do because you wake up. I'm full time in this business. I had a whole list of things I wanted to do today. And here we are almost noon. And I've done 7 other things that I remembered were more urgent, which probably goes to my first list wasn't that great. But step 1 in this business is consistency, waking up and doing it. Whether that's once a day, once a week, whatever your schedule that you can fit in your life, your job, whatever. The second thing is follow up and just staying with people and saying, hey, we talked about this, didn't happen, or hey, we've started this. And that's the other thing, is follow up with them after it's happened. After you get a contract from somebody, letting them know what happened. Hey, we signed with you 2 weeks ago, we've got no calls. Okay, we got no calls. Whatever, or hey, we're under contract, we're waiting. Just letting there be a pulse, keeping the pulse going. And just, like with this guy, we've reached out to him once or twice a day for the last 4 days. Guess what? Tomorrow's day 5. Day 5, it becomes a weekly reach out, or an every 3-day reach out, actually, on this particular deal. Then day 10, it becomes a weekly reach out. Then day 20, it becomes 30, I think it's day 30, it becomes a monthly reach out. Because obviously, the longer they let it go, the less their fire is existing. And all you're trying to do is say, hey, I'm still here. I'm still willing to help. The exciting thing about the way we work is not every day we add, this is a limited bit. In the last week, we've added a new lead source every day, and we are willing to share those leads. So you are not the only one having to be, I realize somebody else I forgot to send the message to, that we are here today and now. I just had 2 new people join us yesterday. And I realized they were not in the group message, so I'm going to fix that right now. Let's see, where is he? That's not the 406 number, that's the 266 number. So we have added a lot of new ways to feed you with leads. Okay, number 1 is we have a subscription to Real Estate Bees and another one where we've already paid for the subscription. We're already in the channel of getting the leads. And we just need people to follow up on them. Real simple. So if you join us, you become part of the mailing list that gets copies of those and run them down. If you decide Real Estate Bees is a category that you like, we can let you log into the system and you can see some back office information on each lead and whatever. But in the email is a name and phone number. So you can go right ahead and start. I just responded to a couple of people in comments. I have a feeling some sort of robot has caught our comment section and continues to post, so I'm trying to determine if that's true. And I don't know quite what to do about that, but anyway, sorry, I got distracted. By the way, if you put a message in comments, I do look at them, but just put a message that makes sense. Somebody just put like $1 like 4 times in comments. I'm like, that's whatever. Sorry, I got distracted. I shouldn't have. Yeah, Willie, you're absolutely right. Nothing is free. So anyway, so sorry guys, got a little distracted there. Anyway, so we have real estate bees and some other services that just send us leads, and we just need people to call them down. The number one job in this business is getting in front of people and getting them to want to work with you, which means you have to provide value. And that's what sets us apart from working on your own, is the value you can send by the legitimacy we provide. We also have leads in the self-storage, mobile home park, and residential and multifamily communities that you can just start calling. We can give you lists and you can start calling, and we can script with you. And this is the important thing. We want to ride alongside you until you're comfortable. Okay. We want to be part of your journey, and we don't want you to feel like you're out on your own. That's why we give you leads. That's why we give you scripts. We give you toolkits. We give you everything you need. When you're ready, we will make these calls with you, meaning it's a three-way call. And you will be able to hear us make the call for you. And meaning we'll do the talking, you'll do the listening and taking notes. And then when you're ready, we flip the script. You do the talking, we do the listening, you do the taking notes. We guide you until you can fly on your own. This is your calls to sellers. This is your follow-up with them. This is everything until you're ready to fly on your own, all the way through the process. It's important to understand that we do offer a paid coaching service. So yes, we can be your guy behind the scenes, and you can just do your show the way you want, collect the money the way you want, and do whatever. But if you join our JV team, you're running the deal, but we're operating the deal, meaning you don't have to worry about the legalities, you don't have to worry about the contracting, all that. We're getting you through it. You're never left alone, is what I'm saying. When you feel like you can fly comfortably, you can take a lot more autonomy, but you're never out there alone. So join us. Sign up with us if you're not already. Paid or JV, I don't care. We pay as much of a percentage as we possibly can for every deal. The exciting new categories of ways we have to reach people is we're also bringing on AI auto dialing. We're bringing a lot of AI technologies, probably first quarter of next year. And so those are some of the reasons that you want to join us. And this is where consistency comes in. If you say you are going to call 100 people this week, and if you've got a full-time job, that's a lot. I mean, even if you don't, 15 people a day, it's not a lot of time, but it is a lot of effort. Don't expect things to instantly happen. Understand it's a numbers game. And that statistically, only out of 100 calls, 10 conversations happen, let's say. So it's a fairly high number, actually, people actually answer the phone. 4 of which are going to want to talk real estate, and the other 6 of which are going to say, oh, I'm not really sure why you're calling, or I'm not ready yet, or whatever. And then kind of down from there, basically. So out of 100 people, 4 become actual real estate conversations. 1 becomes a contract, or 2 become a contract, 1 becomes a sale. Whatever your personal statistic, depends on what category you're calling and how motivated they are, and a lot of other things that can't be controlled. But the point is, it's a math game. The deeper you go into it, the better it gets, the more leads, and that is where you get paid. So in addition to the leads we can provide you and all of the back office technologies and comping services and whatever we can provide you, we also can involve you in deals that somebody else caught on deal analysis, research. Because some people just want to make the initial effort, and they don't want to make, sorry, my hearing aids itch me sometimes, and they don't want to make the follow-up. We are here to help you with that. So the other ways you can market, we've discussed in bandit signs, letters, postcards. We're actually doing another round of postcards in about a month. So that's all part of what we provide here. We also provide sample scripts. And let me walk you through what it sounds like to have a conversation with a seller. And this means that there's a human on the other end of the phone. Okay, so you dial a number, it goes to voicemail. Always leave a voicemail and a follow-up text, and always put them into the list as a prospect. And just mark them. Hey, voicemail this day, da da da. So we can all track it and check back. Try 2, 3, 4 times. Now, I will tell you that there's one strategy that I don't personally like, but does work. Is if they bail you to voicemail or don't pick up, call right back. No more than 3 times. Okay. They hang up or bail, try it again. They hang up or ignore it, try again. Stop trying. The point is that sometimes when people see a second call come in, they'll say, oh, this is an important thing. I better talk to this person. I don't recognize the number, but there's a reason they called me back. And it's important to not sound like a salesperson. You're not selling, you're actually buying. Okay, technically, I say we need salespeople, but we're not selling anything. We're selling money. We're selling, do you want to sell your house? Do you want to, whatever. We're not marketing a service for which they pay. We're marketing something actually for which they get paid. So, yeah. When you get so you leave a voicemail, little text message. Hey, this is Steve. Wanted to reach out to you about your house. Or, hey, this is Steve. You're interested in selling your house. We'd love to talk to you about it. I'm based in Pennsylvania. We can definitely help. Here's my number. Something like that. Friendly, to the point, whatever. Hey, this is Steve. I tried you an hour ago. Whatever. Some sort of brief thing like that. Hey, this is Steve from Gorilla Real Estate. By the way, if you're not licensed, you're not with Gorilla, you're with Hunting for Homes or REI Homepage. So if everyone can just say, hey, this is Steve with REI Homepage. We're real estate investors and brokers. Heard you wanted to sell your house. Would love to talk to you about it. Whatever. House, self-storage, mobile home park. Whatever the deal is. You want to buy it. So all of that being said, you then get to a call which is live with a person. And we'll just pretend it's a cold call. Like this is the first time, whether they called you, you called them, however it happened. It happened. Polite, win-win-win scenario, trying to help them. Knowledgeable, expertise, not a push. Okay. Finding out what caused their situation. What is their situation that caused it? They may not be in a bad situation. Why are we here? So let's start from a cold call. I wish Ryan was able to come today, but he had to be somewhere else. Hey, this is Steve with REI Homepage. Wanted to talk to you about possibly buying your house. Oh yeah, no problem. Great. Okay, so let me just start with the basics. Can you tell me what the address is? And you're noting all this down. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Okay, great. Just out of curiosity, why are you looking to sell? So you're getting quickly to asking them how we can help them. Okay, getting a little bit of basics up front. And you can do this in any order that works. This is not a thespian, stage script that you have to follow word for word. This is a process script, a process thing. Bullet points, really. So you're a little bit on the physical, and this gives you something maybe to be comping while you're on the phone. You have real estate bees, we can give you your password or something. What's the deal? Oh, well, not really looking to sell, just kind of curious. Okay, great, we can give you a valuation, no problem. So you're collecting that information, or hey, this happened. Always express sympathy or whatever, understanding. Their story does 2 things. Their story connects you with them. They feel an emotional connection. And their story, and feel free to share back. Hey, I understand. My mom died a couple of years ago, whatever. Not getting in deep, but they're with somebody that, whatever. You then go on to, okay, well, so that brings you to sell. Do you know what you're looking for on it, like price wise? Or are you looking for full value? Are you needing to sell fast and you can't wait? Or are you, something else? Um, so you're finding out where they're at, and then you're circling back to the physical questions of the property. Now we have it in the script, we have the list: bedrooms, bathrooms, age of major systems, what works, what doesn't, how old's the roof, how old is the furnace, all of that kind of stuff. What's the neighborhood like? How much do you owe on it? Do you have a mortgage? How much do you owe on it? Chit chat, and you're interjecting and you're letting the conversation go, because a lot of times you'll bring up the mortgage. Well, my husband this, and then he slept with my sister, and then this happened, and that happened. Let it roll. Guide them, but don't push them. And back and forth. And then, okay, great. So here's what and then you switch to, and maybe it comes up earlier, but then you switch to what we are. Hey, listen, my partner is a licensed real estate broker. We run a Pennsylvania brokerage firm. We also work a little bit nationwide. We are cash buyers. We are flippers. My broker also owns a number of real estate rental properties and done a few flips and da da da. So you walk them through all of that, all of it. Just kind of, this is who we are. This is how we can help. And really, there's two choices. There's people that need the most money, and we'll take it in more of a real estate listing brokerage scenario. And there's people that need out fast, and we'll take it the other way. We combine those two into it's called a net listing agreement. So you tell us what your goals are, and we take care of it from there. We might be the buyer. We might bring the buyer, whatever. Oh, I'm not looking to sign anything. Well, okay, just understand that, we can't, and there's certain exceptions here, but, hey, listen, I understand, but remember, the people who are going to say to you, there's lots of other, and this is at some point you bring up the unscrupulous. Listen, I'm just going to be straight with you. Like, we're going to be honest with you. We're going to give you a free evaluation of what your property is worth. You're going to send us some pictures, yada, yada, whatever. You can send us some pictures and tell us what the property, and we're going to come back to you with your neighborhood comps and what we think the repair value is and where we think you can list it for and where we think we can buy you for. No obligation. You're not going to get from anyone else, you're going to get a lot of calls from people who are going to promise you whatever you want to hear. I had one last week, which when it's finished would sell for $180,000. And the thing needed 50 grand of work. And the guy's like, I need 165. And I say, listen, that's not going to happen. So it might happen if you list with us, maybe, but realistically, done, your neighborhood's worth 185. Yes, I know that. Okay. Well, 185 minus 50, which is the repair value or the repair cost. He's like, yes, I understand. Isn't what you're asking for. He's like, I understand. I said, okay. As long as you understand what you're asking was unlikely, we can do a listing agreement. 6 months, yada, yada. Well, no, I need someone to buy it for me for cash. And I just told him, point out, I said, it's not going to happen. You're going to be promised that by a wholesaler, by an unscrupulous or unknowledgeable individual is going to promise you that because they'll say whatever they have to get your name on a piece of paper. I said, we are brokers, we are flippers, we are landlords, we are experienced. We're telling you what the reality is, and we're showing you. I emailed you the comps in your area. We agree to that. You walked through what your property needed, and I showed you why it cost that. You agree to that. So please understand, if you don't want to work with us, that's fine. But when that other person promises you something they cannot deliver, then you feel free to come back to us because we told you they can't deliver that to you. And you just have to be honest and say, listen, if that's where you need to go, good luck. We wish you well. Happy to work with you in the future. Put them on the tickle file. Once a month we reach back. And the way the tickle file works is the CRM will message you to follow up with them. So we don't do a lot of automated follow-ups yet because if we miss them, if the system doesn't stop when they tell us to stop, or they make a complaint to the federal government, we can get other things shut down So it's actually worth it to us not to do automatic follow-ups. We do automatic reminders to you to follow up. So you've had a great first conversation. You've collected the information. And then you said, okay, great. I'm going to bounce this off my team. We'll get back to you tonight or tomorrow with some ballpark numbers. What times are you available tonight? What times are you available tomorrow? Great. We schedule something. You look at my calendar. We schedule something. That's when we're calling back. If you can't do that, we at least know when about to call them. You fill out the form. You get us the information. We run the comps. We call them back. You call them back. We call them back together. It all depends on your comfort level. So what it means then is then the next day we're calling them back and saying, hey, here's what we can do. Buy you for this, sell you for that, whatever. List you for that. We get them under contract. We get pictures from them. We start marketing. We get a lockbox out, whatever. We start moving it. That's the disposition phase. What you've done before then is the acquisition. Acquisition is the capturing from, hi, Mr. Seller, to contract signed. That's acquisition. Disposition is contract signed to buyer found. That's disposition. And then there's closing after that. We have a transaction coordinator on every single transaction. There's a TC. So yes, that's part of our cost load when we're doing a deal. But that also makes sure that everything is filed properly and done right and you stay on track. So there's someone to help us with every single freaking deal. So that's how the process works. You're never alone. 24/7, something comes up, you can call me. Even if I say, hey, it's weekend, do we have to talk about this? You're ever ready to say, yeah, I need this help now. Okay, I'm here to, I make money by you closing deals, so I will do what I have to, within, realities of life, but we will never leave you hanging. Now, last thing is I want to cover the payment structure, and there's a couple different ways to work that out. The one way, which is a completely novice structure to us, is I have a couple large wholesalers who want to come on board and have us be their back office, but they don't want to give up 20% of the deal. I said, okay, great. You don't have to. Pay me a subscription fee, a monthly fee to be part of us, and a flat fee per closing. So in the case of one of these guys, it's $100 a month. In another case of these guys, it's $25 a month. The $100 a month pays us $1,000 a closing. Done. If it's a wholesale, he pays $2,500 a closing. But on market, he pays $1,000. The $25 a month pays more. Instead of paying $1,000 for closing, he pays $2,500 and $4,000. Eventually, they will be the same number once I understand that you know how to wholesale properly. But if you're in a situation where I don't want to give up 20%, we can negotiate a flat deal. No problem whatsoever. More if you're not licensed or you're with another firm, less if you are. Most people get paid on a percentage split. And I'll tell you the agent percentage split is 80-20. You get 80, we get 20. Wholesale, more like a 70-30. And that's when you're flying the entire ship yourself. There's no, the TC is still involved, but there's no lead generation, there's no whatever. What most people in this crowd are doing, people on this call right now, are our JV program for off-market investors, which works like this. We take out a 20% company overhead, covering the TC and all of our operations. We then pay everything else gets split. Typically, you guys get 20, 30, and 45%, depending on what you do. I'm sorry, 10, 20, 30, 45. 10%, you bring me a name and number and says, Janie's waiting for your call, here you go. When it closes, you get that money. You do a little more, you get 30, 40, whatever, all the way up. Eventually, you can get more than that. Eventually, you're going to get 80% of the money when I totally know that you're autonomous and you don't need me. You need me only to keep you on the rails. But right away, you're going to get percentage with no money up front, no money monthly. If you're a member of Asset Mastermind, paid member, you get more. But the point is, we offer two compensation structures here at REI homepage. We offer percentage split. Licensed agents is 80-20. Unlicensed is more for the company because there's more risk and we have to be more involved. And we offer a subscription. You pay us a membership fee and then a flat rate of closing. Done. Two important ways to proceed. All right, so, okay, Mary, yeah, so what expenses come out of a typical transaction? So let me walk through what everybody pays at closing. So let's say the property is closing for, and we'll take a wholesale off-market example with round numbers. I did one last week, and we'll just keep it simple. We bought it from the seller at 75. We sold it for 100. So it's a $25,000 spread. The transaction is 100, is the way the city sees the transaction. In Pennsylvania, there's something called a transfer tax, 2%, 4%, depending on the community. Fine. Buyer and seller typically split that, 50-50, straight up the board, we're done. And then there's title searches and paying off liens and other stuff. Those are all buyer and seller numbers. From their 75, the seller paid half the transfer tax, and they paid all of their liens off. The buyer in a wholesale transaction paid everything else: court filing fees, title insurance, half the transfer tax, done. From our 25,000, assuming it's clean, we have our company split 15% typically, 15 to 20. Kind of depends. We have that's our overhead. That's what keeps us alive. That's why such a large amount. Got to remember, it's not about what that deal costs the company. It's about what staying alive costs the company. We legally are required to have an office. We're required to have errors and omissions insurance. We're required to have certain bank accounts. We're required to have certain other things. And licensing and so forth. So those are just expenses. This isn't me eating. This is just expenses. We have the transaction coordinator, which sometimes fits in the 20 and sometimes doesn't. Typically about half of it fits in the 20. So it sounds like a lot, but the reality is we're getting a lot. It's all of our advertising software. It's all of our technology. It's our paperless pipeline, our Go High Level, our CRM, our lawyers, all of our stuff we pay for, subscription fees for getting leads and so forth. It's all of that. That's all coming out of that. It's a lot of money every year. I mean, E&O alone is $6,000 a year. So the company fee comes out. Then it's a split of who participated. Okay. You know, the transaction coordinator participated, the person who found the lead. And we'll just break it down. If you're doing all of this, then you're getting all of this added up. But there's the person who found the lead and first made the contact. They get a piece of the pie. The person who collected the information and ran the numbers, they get a piece of the pie. The person who actually handled the seller during the transaction, they get a piece of the pie. The person who did the distribution, the disposition, marketing, the advertising, the buyer side, they get a piece of the pie. And then there's possibly something left. I mean, then there's you, me, and Ryan. Now, you may be part of all those other pieces of pie. Those might also be your pie. But then there's me and Ryan. We have to eat too. So basically, every deal is broken down. And typically it works out like this. Company takes 20%. There's probably a couple of extra percent in other expenses. And then it's typically you get half of what's left. That's typically how it runs. So on a $25,000 deal, okay, we lost $5,000 to expenses. And this is actually how the deal went down. So there's 20,000 left. So the person who ran the deal got 10 grand. Ryan and I each got 5. And so you got 10 grand in probably took 20 hours maybe. So you get $500 an hour. It ain't bad. So if you want to learn real estate, you want to get involved, give us a call. Let's get you started. Let's get you on the path to making money. Steve Franco, REI homepage, 570-798-7051. Thanks.